Have you ever wanted to go back to a broader view after implementing some features that take a few weeks? Or after launching the first version of your game and trying to add a new feature, did you weren't sure if it was okay to add? Today I'm going to talk about why we need a game design document and share the way how I write this. Before I introduce my experience, let's think about why we need this. Why do we need to take the time to write this document? Without clarifying this, it could be wasting your precious time. That's because we all forget. We can remember every detail of something. At some point, we can think of something, but as time goes on, it gradually fades from my head. So if you work alone, it is still important. We need to write down the main game concept, main game mechanism, and details of the system. Because the document exists, we can focus on the development. It could be similar to our vision moving from forest to tree. We focus our energy on detailed things. But a few weeks later, after implementing the important game features, we need to move our vision to a broader one again. Like a game core concept and a main game loop. At this point, we need something to look back on our vision of the game. What was the main game concept? What was the main game system? Game design documents can rescue, because it stores all about the game system, such as the main system and their relations to each other, art style, your game's main concept, etc. We can easily see the whole view of the system easily. At the point you write this GDD, you may have done idea brainstorming, or you may have decided which game you should create in an abstract way. And you are about to write these abstract ideas into concise sentences. I usually start with the concept statement. The concept statement is a 1 or 2 sentence description of an important aspect of your game. It especially relates to the player experience. If someone else asks you, what is this game about? This sentence should answer the question. Your game concept should be concise, to the point, and easily understood. And this is how I wrote my ongoing game project concept statement. I think these sentences tell about the game in an easily understood way. The main concept of the ongoing project is studying creatures while surviving in the unknown world. To study and survive in this world, the player should become a member of this world. Next, I wrote about my game's unique selling points. In other words, we call it as USP. There are so many games in the market. Under these circumstances, it is important that your game stands out from the rest. So people find your game attractive and are motivated to play it. At first, there is no need a large number of USPs. Just having 3 or 4 meaningful statements of why your game is unique is enough. And this is how I wrote my ongoing game project USPs. What makes this game different is that if you want to survive on the world for a long time and do research, we have to coexist with this world and not just selfishly seek resources. In order for us to get something, we have to help someone else. Like this example, I considered the game's USP before developing the game. One of the most important things we need to consider when making a game is player experience. Related to the player experience, there are several points to think and write down. An important and useful way to think about the player's experience is to tell about the key moments in the game. Key moments may differ by the stage of play, which means that the key moments would be different between the players who are first learning and the players who have mastered the game. So I've described key moments of the players in different stages. In my case, I grouped it into 3 stages. I described what the key experience would be like at each stage. Someone who was new to the game, someone who had learned the basic rules, and someone who had mastered the game. And I always think about the meaning and how they would feel when playing. I know we can make fun games that don't take themselves seriously, but when I think about this, they work as a keystone. It helped me think about how to design the game. So far, the game concept statement, USP, and player experience we talked about before are like a broad view of the game. It's like a forest. These things describe our game at a high level, so every time we add a new feature, we can turn back on this forest to think about whether this still goes on well with my game. Now we need to think more about our game structure. It helps us find out where to start to develop. We need to set goals for our game and think about how it starts and progresses. If you think that the game scale is too large, it's a good idea to think about the demo version. You can cut off the scale by thinking of how you are going to create your demo version. A quick sketch of the player's game progression can be very helpful. Or you can do your physical prototyping to help you imagine more concretely. In my case, I described the goal and progression of the demo version briefly and made a physical prototype to think about whether this would be going well. Finally, it's time to think about which systems we need to create our game world. Systems, for example, could be a combat, an economy, an ecology, etc. I usually describe each system in the following points. How can the system support game concept and player experience? How is the system implemented through objects in the game? By answering these questions, I can easily describe each system. Today, we've seen why the game design document is important and how I usually write GGD. I hope someone who watches this video gets some insights from it. Thank you for watching. I will see you the next time.